If you've ever walked out to your garden on a hot day and watched your soil turn to dust before noon, you already know why mulch matters. It's not just a finishing touch, it's water insurance, root protection, temperature control, and microbial fuel all rolled into one. The biggest secret about healthy plants isn't fertilizer, it's not even sunlight, it's consistent moisture. When your soil dries out, your plants don't just get thirsty, they get stressed. Stress leads to stunting, yellowing, poor flowering, and low yields. And the problem isn't just heat. Even moderate temperatures can dry out exposed soil fast. Mulch steps in as your garden's protective shield, slowing down evaporation, insulating roots, feeding microbes, and preventing crusting on the soil surface. But not all mulches are created equal. Some mulch materials hold water inside themselves, others repel water until they break down, and others insulate extremely well, but need precise depth to work effectively. That's why this test was designed to be practical and honest. No lab-controlled simulations, just real plants, real beds, and real mulch. To find out which mulch actually keeps soil hydrated longest, I set up identical garden beds, each planted with the same variety of tomato seedlings. They were watered at the same time, with the same amount, on the same schedule. Each bed received one type of mulch applied at the correct standard depth for that material. The mulches tested were grass clippings, straw, shredded leaves, wood chips, and compost mulch. Each bed was mulched to its optimal working depth, grass at 5 to 7 centimeters, straw at 7 to 10 centimeters, leaves at 6 to 8 centimeters, wood chips at 10 to 12 centimeters, and compost at 3 to 5 centimeters. Moisture readings were taken daily at root depth, and yes, rainfall was factored in and measured evenly across beds, but there's a twist. Alongside the mulch test, I added a supplemental weekly feeding of FPJ, Fermented Plant Juice, a simple plant-based extract that boosts nutrient uptake and strengthens root systems. I made 2 FPJs, one from comfrey and one from fast-growing weeds, both diluted at 1 to 100 before application. I applied comfrey FPJ to half of the beds and the weed FPJ to the other half to see whether plant boosters could impact mulch performance. Let's get into what actually happened. If you've watched Soilpower for a while, you already know I'm a huge believer in wood chip mulch for long-term soil health, but this test confirmed it beyond question. Wood chips won by a landslide. Not only did they keep the soil moist up to 3 times longer than bare soil, they outperformed every other mulch in the lineup. The moisture levels under wood chips dropped so slowly that I often found myself checking twice to make sure the sensor wasn't faulty. Wood chips work because they form a thick, spongy, aerated layer that slows evaporation dramatically. Instead of letting the sun bake the soil, they create a buffer zone where water stays trapped below. Over time, as they decompose, they also feed beneficial fungi, which further improves water retention. For gardeners who want deep hydration without constant watering, nothing beats wood chips. The only catch is that you must keep them at the correct depth, 10 to 12 centimeters. Any thinner, and they lose their insulating power. Any deeper, and you risk creating anaerobic spots. But used correctly, they are unmatched. If wood chips are the long-term champions, shredded leaves are the quiet hero of seasonal mulching. They performed better than I expected, keeping the soil hydrated significantly longer than straw or grass. Because leaves break down faster and hold moisture within themselves, they create a dense, breathable blanket over the soil. The key is shredding them. Whole leaves mat down and create water-resistant layers that repel moisture. Shredded leaves, on the other hand, lock together loosely, allowing air and water to flow, while still blocking intense evaporation. Applied at 6 to 8 centimeters, shredded leaves offer some of the best moisture retention you can get for free. If you have trees, you already own one of the best mulches on earth. Straw is a favorite for vegetable gardens, especially for tomatoes, squashes, peppers, and potatoes. It performed well in the test, not as good as wood chips or leaves but far better than bare soil. Straw's strength lies in insulation. It creates air pockets that regulate soil temperature and reduce rapid drying. However, it doesn't hold water as well as leaves or chips. The top layer dries quickly, and unless you maintain the full 7 to 10 centimeter depth, its effectiveness drops fast. Still, straw kept the soil consistently cool and protected, and it's a forgiving mulch for beginners. Grass mulch came with a mixed performance. When applied fresh and thinly, no more than 5 to 7 centimeters, it held moisture extremely well in the first week. The problem is that grass decomposes rapidly, shrinking down to almost nothing within days. As it breaks down, it also heats up, which can cause moisture loss if the layer is too thick. But in a thin, even layer, grass can give your soil a nitrogen-rich boost while providing good, short-term moisture retention. Grass mulch is ideal for gardeners who want a free, fast-acting mulch that feeds soil and protects moisture, but you have to reapply often. Compost mulch is the king of fertility, but compared to the other mulches, its moisture retention was the lowest. Compost dries out quickly because it's fine-textured and dense. It performs best as a top dressing under another mulch, not as a standalone moisture barrier. That doesn't mean compost isn't valuable. Quite the opposite. It's one of the best soil-building materials you can apply. But if you're battling drought or heat waves, compost alone isn't enough to keep your soil hydrated. For best results, use a layer of compost at 3 to 5 centimeters. Then add wood chips or leaves on top. That combination is absolutely unbeatable. The Comfrey FPJ created noticeable differences in growth and resilience. Plants treated with Comfrey FPJ had greener leaves, thicker stems, and, most importantly, stronger root systems. Those stronger roots were able to access moisture deeper in the soil, amplifying the benefits of mulch. The weed-based FPJ also helped, but the Comfrey version produced a much more pronounced effect. Here's the exact FPJ formula I used in this mulch test: 1 kilogram fresh plant material, 1 kilogram brown sugar, mixed together at a 1-to-1 ratio, fermented for 7 days, and diluted at 1 to 100 before use. A single weekly application was enough to noticeably improve plant vigor and even moisture efficiency. If you've never used FPJ in your garden before, trust me, it's one of the simplest and most powerful natural fertilizers you can make. Many gardeners lose out on mulch benefits simply because they don't apply it correctly. Too thin and it dries out. Too thick and you smother your soil. The following are the exact depths you should stick to if you want to replicate the results from this test. Grass, 5 to 7 centimeters. Straw, 7 to 10 centimeters. Leaves, 6 to 8 centimeters. Wood chips, 10 to 12 centimeters. Compost, 3 to 5 centimeters. Always water the soil deeply before applying mulch. Mulch locks in existing moisture. It doesn't hydrate dry soil. And most importantly, keep mulch 5 to 7 centimeters away from the base of the plant. Crowding mulch around stems is one of the main causes of rot, pests, and fungal issues. If your priority is long-term moisture retention, the answer is simple: use wood chips. They keep soil hydrated the longest, provide excellent insulation, feed beneficial fungi, and last for months. If you want a free seasonal alternative, shredded leaves come incredibly close and hold moisture better than most gardeners realize. If you want a vegetable-friendly mulch that's easy to handle and quick to apply, straw is your reliable middle ground. If you want a nitrogen-rich, short-term boost, grass can work beautifully, as long as you keep it thin and fresh. And if you're focused on soil health first, compost belongs in every bed, even if it needs another mulch layered above it for moisture control. Every mulch has its place, but when it comes to pure hydration power, wood chips sit at the top of the throne. Mulch isn't just a garden accessory, it's a strategy. When you choose the right mulch and apply it at the correct depth, you reduce watering needs, protect your plants from stress, promote healthy soil, and unlock higher yields with less effort. I hope this deep dive gave you the clarity you've been looking for. If you found this article useful and want more real science-backed gardening insights, make sure to subscribe to Soilpower on YouTube, and share this guide with another gardener who could use a little mulch wisdom in their life. Let's keep building powerful soil together.